So I've never actually seen this experiment done, but I've read that frogs can be put into bodies of cold water and the heat can be slowly turned on in increments, and because it's a slow process or a buildup to the boiling point, the frog will actually stay in the water until it dies. Whereas if you were to take a frog and just throw it into hot water without that progression of temperature, it would do everything that it could to escape if it did not die. Now, I'm not, again, 100% sure if that's true, but I've heard a lot of people talk about this throughout the years, and again, I've never actually seen it, but it's very similar to how human beings have been conditioned, you guys. You see, most people don't realize what their body and their mind was designed to feel like. Most people aren't aware of how poor their health is. Most people aren't aware of how stiff they are and how just destroyed their bodies are and their minds. You've been conditioned in little increments, much like our frog, and you are now the byproduct or the amalgam of your lifetime programming. This is really important to understand. The mind control is subtle. And because it's subtle, it sneaks up on you, and as it integrates into your system, you progress in a tier-like level into being a programmed human. And what's genius about this mind control, folks, is that as you progress through it, or as you become conditioned by it, you forget where things went wrong. You forget where the pieces were blasted apart, so to speak. You don't see how all the pieces fell apart, which is why it's important to get the pieces to fit again, and that's why we have to go back into our minds. That is why I'm constantly talking, ladies and gentlemen, about the full body relaxation exercise. This is one of the reasons why I'm constantly talking about the thoughtlessness exercise and the inner temple exercise. We're so go here in this world that we never have a chance to really lower our stress and calm our minds down, and because of that, we never really enter into that vulnerable state of consciousness that is required to remember where things, to go back into our minds and remember where things went wrong. You see, it's kind of hard to unprogram from the programming if you don't even know that you were programmed, and most people don't. That is why we have to systematically and intentionally try to go back into our minds and see where things went wrong. Now, most of you guys remember that at one point in your life, when you were a child, things were much more magical. Your imagination was more intact. You were much more optimistic. You weren't bogged down by depression and anxiety. You could see right to the core of things, and there wasn't just this muddling of the mind. And most of you guys who I've talked with personally, who remember that your childhood at one point was much more magical than this current state of consciousness that you're in, most of you guys also remember where things started to go wrong. But a lot of people don't remember exactly what went wrong. You see, it's very difficult to unprogram from something if you don't know where the initial programming took place. You have to have a reference point of sorts. It's really windy out here, you guys. I apologize. So, it's just insane, and I'm still working on this. I do not think most people realize how extensive the conditioning is. I just don't. And I don't think most people ever will, and I really don't think most people will ever care to realize or attempt to uncover the truth. The truth is that you came into this world very innocent. You came into a very diseased, sick world, however, and because you were forced to interact with this world, this sick world, you started to take on characteristics energetically of this sick world, and it repositioned your assemblage point and changed who you were on a fundamental level. It took your imagination away. And they also came for you when you were in your sleep, when you were dreaming. A lot of you guys know, I can't tell you how many comments I've gotten from people where I've talked about how the archons come for you when you're young in your dreams. I've gotten so many comments on videos where I say that. It's insane. Every time I used to go to sleep, more often than not, when I was a young boy, I was terrified. And I would hear this noise in my ear when I put my head to my pillow, and it was always like this drum sound that I learned over time to realize that it was an indicator that they were coming for me in my dreams, and it always happened. Nightmares as a young child reposition your assemblage point through trauma and fear. And through the repositioning of your assemblage point, your consciousness goes from being really wide to really narrow. And through the continuation of the nightmares and the bullshit and the education and the forced medical servitude and all this crap that you're exposed to at a young age that scares you on a deep, fundamental, subconscious level, that assemblage point moves to a new position, gets stuck there, and gets locked. And now your awareness used to be this entire scope, and now it's just this little crack in the wall. So the assemblage point, we've gone over that a multitude of times. I'm not going to get into it in this video. All I'm going to say is that when you were younger, it was in a very liberated and free point. That's why you had an imagination. But the assemblage point can move based on trauma, fear, anxiety, you name it. And over time, if those fears and anxieties are continual, the assemblage point begins to match those energies to the point where it locks into a position that is congruent with that energetic continuum, if you will. And that's why everyone out here in the Matrix, they're all the same. Everybody's assemblage point is in a very similar position. And that's why if you awaken Kundalini, that's why if you have any of these paranormal experiences that cause your assemblage point to reposition, everybody looks at you differently now, because unaware to their conscious mind, their energetic fields don't really align with yours. It's like opposing magnets. And that's why when you have these experiences, especially with Kundalini, many people start to feel targeted by the world. It's because you do not have an energetic field that fits with the masses, with the sheep, with the slaves. And I don't care if you have a problem with me calling them slaves. I don't. What has happened here to humanity is an absolute shame, and it's disgusting. And I do not have time to try to snap everybody out of their hypnosis. I do not have time to use these gentle words for everybody, because most people don't listen regardless. Stop acting like everybody's just innocent and they all have to be talked nice to. It's ridiculous. Get out of your programming. It's monumental how stupid we've become. How enslaved we are by this system. The system's got you literally kissing its ass, caring for it, while at the same time it's sucking you dry like a tick, like a leech, like a parasite. So, long story short, folks, I'm going to wrap this one up because it's really windy. Just like our frog in the pot of cold water, you came out into the world in a pot of cold water, and the heat immediately started getting turned up. But because it was so subtle, you didn't really notice what was going on. At a young age, you did. But you've forgotten that. We've forgotten our youthful mind, folks. So how do we change this? Well, we take care of our own, we start taking care of our health. We get rid of the gluten so that our digestive system can start working again. We get rid of the vegetable oils. We increase our antioxidant intake. We increase our body's ability to produce glutathione. We put ourselves into a situation where our body can start producing natural endogenous melatonin so that your brain can heal, so that you can sleep. You reduce the level of stress hormones in your body. You increase your intake of real food, nothing fake, nothing processed, nothing, again, with gluten in it, nothing with vegetable oils in it, nothing with corn syrups and all the other bullshit that people love to shove in their throats. It's disgusting. We go on a long, prolonged journey into recovery from the damage that the system has done to us, the Matrix. There's a reason why all this crap is in the food, folks. It doesn't just exist there because people thought it was a good idea, or, oh, we're going to put all these titanium dioxides and all this nonsense in the food because we love them. No. The people that run the show, the people that rule you, your Lord and saviors that you have Stockholm Syndrome under, are master chemists, they are master biologists, they are master psychologists, and they are master occultists. They are magicians of the highest order, and they have got you hypnotized. And the hypnosis was from trauma-based mind control that started at a young age, that shifted your assemblage point, compounded with bad food, water, unnecessary education where they filled your mind full of erroneous factoids and bullshit. They've got you inside being fried to death with the blue light that's suppressing natural endogenous melatonin production. This in turn destroys your pineal gland. They've got your stress hormones through the roof. They've got you dehydrated and mineral depleted, vitamin depleted. You're depleted of all the 90 essential nutrients. You're fucked unless you change your ways. So again, there's a huge emphasis on getting grounded with my system as well. Getting natural energy, electrons into your system. Getting your body to produce natural glutathione. There's ways to do that. We'll go over that in the near future. But again, there's a million ways to Sunday in which they've conned you and hoodwinked you and they've got your health destroyed. But because they put you in that pot and turn the heat up really softly, you don't even know that you don't feel good anymore. Fucking wind. You aren't even aware of the fact that you're programmed or that your health is destroyed. It's insane. Magnesium is a part of this puzzle as well, but it in no way, shape, or form encapsulates the whole puzzle, folks. I mean, they've got everybody on this salt-restricted, calorie-deficient, high-carb, low-fat diet that's causing your brain to shrink, causing your blood sugar levels to be spiked constantly. I mean, this is just a recipe for inflammation. Everybody's inflamed. So it's so windy out here, you guys. I love you. I would love to have made this video longer, but I just can't with this wind. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to upload this because of the wind noise. Peace be with you.